All right, everyone, we start off today with something that's really good, which is that Desantis, governor of Florida, he's now sponsoring something called the Stop Woke Act, and this would effectively allow teachers in schools to be sued if they attempt to teach critical race theory in Florida schools. Now, I can already hear the headlines from MSNBC and CNN and stuff. Oh my God, DeSantis hates history. DeSantis, the book burner. You know, they've already gone after him like a rape tape with regards to his COVID response. Completely fell flat. He's more popular than ever. If you watch, it'll be the same thing with this. The Republicans, they just want to get rid of Toni Morrison, basically. Now, that's not actually the case. Now, there will be a link in the description of this video, and I will pin it as well down below to my book that actually debunks critical race theory. I'm going to do that this time for the first video of the day. You know, this is the first time in like a year, I think, that I haven't shared out the links to the other video hosting sites, but you can use them anyway. Keep in mind those links are always in the description regardless, along with a bunch of other cool shit, so check it out. Critical race theory is not education. It's not free speech. What it is it's an analytic academic field. Nobody's preventing people from debating the concepts within that field. It's not even really a theory so much as a wonky hypothesis. You have the right to have whatever views you want. Do you have the right to force taxpayers to fund your ideas? The answer is generally no. Just because you have a thought in your head and you believe that it's true doesn't mean that it comports to what you would want children to be taught, again, with taxpayer money. The majority of taxpayers do not want critical race theory taught in schools. The majority of Floridians, I'm sure. You might be able to find a majority of people that have no problem with CRT in New York City or in San Francisco. Even at the state level in the most blue states, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anything more than a significant minority supporting it. And that number has dropped over time. I love how the Biden admin, they want to attack people that go to school board meetings and air out their grievances, and they pretend like, well, this is just a new thing. We've had these racial justice curricula for years, and now all of a sudden people have been whipped into a frenzy by the conspiracy theorist Republicans. No, it's because people started to notice what was in those curricula. Yes, it is true. All too often parents don't know. They don't go to the school board meetings. They don't read the homework. They don't have anything to do with their children's education. This is the problem. This is a rectification of an ongoing problem, which is the denigration of the U.S. education system by bullshit. We've got woke math now in which they're like, hey, yeah, 2 + 2 = 4, but if you say it equals 5 and you can justify that point, that's okay. Well, no, it's not. That's not the point of math. It's meant to be a concrete scientific thing. Otherwise, you're going to get some really bad engineering students. But that's the thing. They want them to take women's studies. They want to weaken the society. By the way, critical race theory is literally pushed by China. The academics involved with it, probably they get money from Chinese slush funds too. I refuted the 5 main tenets, well, technically 4 main tenets, and then they admit to Marxism in the 3rd tenet, so they're not forthcoming about that on MSNBC, and that's technically a refutation of the civic side of things. It's not hard. It didn't require much effort to go through and pick through the things that critical race theory points out and point out that they're horseshit. And DeSantis recognizes that. This isn't even a political issue at this point. This goes beyond a political issue. I believe even among Democrats, the majority don't want to do critical race theory. You know, if I'm a suburban, stuffy, sweater-wearing, Sigmund Freud, Starbucks latte liberal, if I'm Brian Griffin, the human version, I don't want my kid to get a shitty education because, you know, I'm probably in the upper middle class. I'm a professional. I do dentistry or whatever. And I pay a lot of taxes. That makes me marginally less tolerant of the far left side of politics. I'm just a standard garden variety liberal. I watch Crossfire. At this point, I watch the Young Turks. They've gone way off into neoliberal la la land recently too for many intents and purposes. Critical race theory among parents, for example, including probably even the far left parents, is massively unpopular. Well, I mean, whose kids are actually in the school? Parents! Well, if you don't have any kids, you don't really have much to say about the conversation now, do you? I think people should homeschool. I also think that we should reform the school tax system We should reform that, and it should be a per-student system. In order to further incentivize the schools not to be shitty, we should take a share of the money and give it to people who homeschool who are effectively working as teachers by doing so. And it should also be dispersed evenly per student to private schools. Yes, including the religious ones, which is a case before SCOTUS as we actually speak. Critical race theory, though, is basically beyond argument. It is not real. There is no real argument to have. There is no virtue in teaching it to students. It would be like saying we need to have creation theory. We need to have critical creation theory. Sure, you can say that existence began billions of years ago with the Big Bang. Well, I think that the world's on the back of a giant turtle. And Gertrude over there, she thinks that it was caused 100 million years ago by an outbreathing of Brahma. And so on and so on forth. We need to teach them all. we have to be critical about things. History does not require that kind of critical analysis in this sense. The problem, you're not even questioning historicity, because it's effectively meshing in with civics and history. You're not analyzing historicity. You're not saying, well, we have a new theory based on archaeology about what happened 500 years ago at this battle, at this fort. That's not what you're doing. You're retroactively analyzing things simply through a different academic lens. So you're simply, it's effectively, it is communism with the class theory removed and race theory inserted. It's like communism switched ammunition types. That's basically what it is. What you're doing, therefore, is not really adding anything new to history. You're just formulating a new opinion regarding what racial justice means. So through their lens, for example, and by the way, the average liberal parent would freak out if they heard this. They say, well, no, Martin Luther King was effectively a failure because he didn't address, he didn't hate white people enough, I guess. Malcolm X was a failure. The civil rights movement ultimately was bullshit, according to some proponents of critical race theory. They were doing the wrong thing. No, we shouldn't have been fighting for equality. We should have been fighting for more reparations. Give the Gibbs, give me money. It's not palatable to anyone, and it's not even historical. Again, 2 of the 5 main tenets of critical race theory self-refute. I will never stop pointing this out. Always point this out to people. If you have a legal system that has been created, as critical race theory suggests, by white people for white people, is run by white people and white people money, and is intrinsically racist against everyone who's not white, attempting to empower that system as it is, without any hint of what methodology by which you stop it from being like that, giving it more money and power and legal capability to punish the evil-doing racists won't work, because the edifice itself is racist. That's like saying, hey, there's a lion that's trying to grab me here. I'm going to feed this other lion and hope that it fights the other lion off because it's bigger. Or something. The jackals are chasing me. Quick, let me go cuddle up to this rhinoceros. I'm sure it'll be happy with that. No, you're going to get killed. It doesn't make any sense. And that's just one of the self-refuting points within critical race theory. The whole thing is just revisionism. Historical revisionism, Marxism, which it professes. The third tenet is that it was partially influenced by that, which is essentially, again, why it is communism. And all they've done is replace class theory. You can read about communism. Read Marx. You should, by the way. You should definitely read. Once you read works by Marx, you'll realize why communism is bullshit. Read that. Compare it to some of the basic handkerchief scribblings of critical race theory's so-called big minds, and you'll notice that there's a huge overlap there. It's almost like the communists' loss on the economic front means they have to pivot now into moralism. They become moralist communists. A little bit like Nazbols, I suppose, only they want more reparations in the name of social justice and racial justice. But Desantis is right to do this because it shouldn't be taught in schools. Your tax money shouldn't go towards teaching bullshit, and certainly shouldn't be going to teaching a form of communism. That's about all. Peace out.